Yeah.
So when you get cut from West Coast, cut from West Coast,
Yep.
the list sizes came down, so they were at 50,
They did,
52.
but again, Moldhouse didn't want me, and Nizzy was a fan because I'd been at Subi with Nizzy, and he wanted to keep me and all that sort of stuff. But and the list size came down, and I sort of wasn't a project player as much anymore, So
How did you get to Freo then? How does that come about?
So 94 back at Subi. I was living with Phil Smart at the time, actually. So he's the Claremont footy manager. He gets the job as the national recruiting manager
For Fremantle.
Jared Neesham's the coach. So there's an interview lined up. I got on the other side of the table Jared Neesham and Jared McNeil, who was the footy manager, and he's a good friend of mine now. And Wayne Loxley, the Subiaco footy manager, and me on this side of the table. It's at Subi Footy Club. And Neesham goes, I don't think you're good enough. You just haven't got it. You're slow laterally. And Neesham's very opinionated. So I went in thinking, I'm flat. And he goes, so tell me why you should. And I don't know what I said. And, it wasn't a lot because I was disappointed that he'd gone in with that view. Mm. And he goes, listen, you're friends with Phil Smart. Come to training. We'll see what happens. I go, all right. So I get to training. There's 90 people there. So,
wow.
So they've probably at that stage recruited, the guns like Ben Allen and Scotty Waters, Peter Mann. But then there was the other guys, sort of like Tony Delaney, Todd Ridley, that didn't have that profile. But there's probably 15 or 20 AFL guys. Then there was probably another 10 or 15 sort of gun waffles. And then the rest of us were waffle players, just trying out that they could just put on the list, for extras. Because, again, they were allowed extra players. I think they're allowed, don't quote me, but I thought that was 52, but it could be maybe 45 or something like that. So I go to
it sounds
training.
like just like an open training for people to.
Well, they invited them, and so it was all the waffle sort of stars at the time, who'd all been overlooked by drafts and that sort of stuff. And it was the hardest thing I have ever done, bar nothing. It was so hard. It was 6 mornings and 5 nights. I had a job in between, so I was with Timmy Collins at Access Business Machines and with my mate Dave Snow from Subiaco, and Snowy was trying out as well. So the 3 mornings were alternating running and weights, and the runs were quite difficult. We're at Bicton Water Polo, and so you'd run out sort of 6Ks and then run back, and then you'd have some breakfast and you'd have a shower. You'd go to work and you'd come back, and nighttime was training. And nighttime was at least 2 hours. Jared had a lot to teach, and he was awesome. So that was 6 mornings, 5 nights from, I think it was October the 30th or the 31st, all the way through to the end of January. And it was just so hard. I remember getting home Saturdays after training, and you just get into bed and you'd sleep from like 9 till 2. And then you'd be fresh enough to go out Saturday night. So, and then Sunday, behave yourself, and Monday morning back again, sort of thing. So it was really difficult. But the 5 nights, and this is where I improved. This is where I went from a good average waffle player to being able to play AFL footy. It was all because of Jared Neesham, his education and his training. And I used to stand at the back, obviously being the tallest of this group, and he'd say something, and I'd go, wow, no one's ever said that to me before. And by that stage, I played 100 waffle games. I'd been on an AFL list for 3 years. And I'm going, wow. And I put it into practice. And then he'd do a drill that did that. And then, and then another night later, and I go, wow, no one's said that either. And so I went, and because you're training like that, you're going to get fit.
Yeah.
So you're getting fitter, you're improving, you're learning like nothing else. And it was a real privilege, and it was the difference from me from making that progression. So it was awesome.
This is the inaugural Freo squad. This is the first year. So I don't know if I've spoken to anyone who's sort of, I'm sure Mac, was he down there?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah.
So, but we probably didn't focus too much on that process. Was West Coast was established in here, and Freo is this new club that's trying to start up, and you got 100 people trying to get on this list. Like it's like a boot camp by the sounds of it. Trying to improve. It's pretty interesting concept. Like it's a brand new footy club, no team song, and assuming no facilities.
No facilities, mate. It gets worse. Worse. The South Fremantle Footy Club had arranged for a motocross on Fremantle Oval. So we had to go and find other ovals to go and train at. So we were training at Troy Park, and Troy Park sort of like reminded me of an old tip, it was lumpy, and here's an AFL club training. Now listen, we didn't know the difference, and it didn't overly worry us. South Fremantle, we had the visitors' change rooms, and we just had a hook. So Chuck Norris, he found out that I think John Curtin High School were getting rid of some of their lockers. I feel bad about the sign writer. We got a trailer. We dropped them at the sign writer's house, Scully. He spray painted them all purple, and we got some help to hang them up. So we were arranging stuff like that. So it wasn't the most sophisticated, but I wouldn't change it for anything. It was awesome. Yeah.
Did you like that? Well, you should see the full episode. They're out Wednesdays on YouTube, or you can listen to them wherever you get your podcasts.